Why don't you take your Bibles, please, and turn to James, the 3rd chapter, beginning with verse 13 through 18. That's our text for today. I want to read that hearing so you can kind of think about the words. This is kind of a good word study, but we're going to make application as you can follow the questions in lesson number 7. Who is the wise and understanding among you? Let him show by his good life his works in meekness of wisdom. For if ye have bitter jealousy and faction in your heart, glory not and lie not against the truth. This wisdom is not a wisdom that cometh down from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish. For where jealousy and faction are, there is confusion in every vile deed. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, easy to be entreated, full of mercy, good fruits, without variance, without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace for them that make peace. Your translation may read a little differently, but I read it from the American Standard Version, and we'll kind of talk about them. We got to apply these particular words in about a lot of part of the lesson. But our first question is, why is it truly an understanding? Not I'm filled with knowledge, but an understanding important in our life before God and before others? Why is that the case? Let's read it again. Who is the wise and understanding among you? Let him show by his good life his works in meekness of wisdom. So, why is that important? And it just doesn't sell me here this, so let's don't talk about it. No, an understanding heart. This is a part of wisdom, is it not? Who is wise among you? Wisdom shows how I can use my knowledge in a way that benefits others to the glory of God. It's our life as a Christian. But understanding is that knowledge that makes one qualified to even use wisdom with. So understanding, how does it work? What is this there? What is that? I've got knowledge of that, but combined with the wisdom, that is indeed lets us to be good about others. So if I don't have an understanding mind, I really don't have a lot of wisdom. Knowledge is important, or you don't. How do you have wisdom when you don't know a thing what you're talking about? But I sure am wise. That doesn't work. So it's truly, that show who is really, truly wise. He asked the question, who is wise and understanding among you? He had excuse me.
It was explained to me one time, and I found it very easy to understand and to remember, is that first comes knowledge. You have to gain the knowledge.
That's right.
And understanding comes after knowledge. You start to understand what you know, and then that is what leads to wisdom.
Yeah.
So it's knowledge, understanding, wisdom. And I always found it really easy to remember that way.
Well, that's exactly right. And what we're doing here, we're gaining the knowledge of what it ought to be. But there's that next grade of understanding, and then truly there's wisdom there. And remember, he opened this chapter, don't be many of you teachers, because you're going to be held to a stricter standard. You're not you're going to get more trouble in hell. It's a stricter standard of judgment, because you have access to people teaching others, and you use the tongue. He talked about the tongue. We just got through talking about that. So here's the wisdom that needs to be there with teachers, presenting what they know and what they hopefully understand. How can I've always found this to be true, that you listen to someone for a few minutes and they do a lot of talking, but you realize they're just meandering here to meandering there. They really don't understand what the issue is. They don't understand what the problem is, but they're doing a lot of talking. And the point is that we've got to truly understand. And a lot of times, that's what writing articles does for me. It disciplines you in a limited space to tell people what you know. And if you can't write it down, you don't know it. For me it is. If I can't write a point to get my point, then I really don't know what I'm talking about. I need to come back. But when you have that knowledge and you can see the angles, you can anticipate this, you might want to answer that question. Then I think you're beginning to have the wisdom that is worth listening to. And that's what he said this to all Christians. Who is wise? Who is wise indeed among you and understanding among you? Let him show by his good life the works that he does in the meekness of wisdom. So how does true wisdom manifest itself? Yes, and what kind of conduct? Good conduct, that's right. It's a good conduct. It is one that is beneficial. Agathos, beneficial unto others. And kalos is that other term that's talked about good. It's good in being, but it's beneficial in effect. So it comes from God's word. The scriptures provide us everything unto good works, makes a man perfect unto every what? Good work. That which is in itself good in that text. But then this good denotes it takes into that, but it's also beneficial. We're talking about growing to perfection, and here we are, the wise and understanding among you. You better be practicing what you preach. You need good conduct. That is indeed, it manifests the wisdom that you're teaching us to have, or the knowledge that we should have, and understanding that we should spend our time creating for our minds. So that's how it manifests itself. So when we talk about wisdom, notice in Colossians 4 in verse 5, how it's beneficial to others, and that becomes very, very important. This is just looking elsewhere in the scriptures, but seeing how we ought to have wisdom. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Different context, but it says walk in wisdom, walk circumspectively, looking around you. It's like get your head swiveled all around you, because you have many trouble coming your way. You're aware of your surroundings, and especially here when he says those who are without, those are not just your brethren. In fact, it's not here. It's those who are outside of Christ, those who are without. You walk circumspectly. You don't have a lot of opportunities, so buy up the time. Make sure you are living the life that is worth talking about, and that you say, well, I don't do that, but you need to do this to become a Christian, that sort of thing. No, the wisdom is that you're living what you're teaching, and you're indeed walking circumspectively, making sure that you're honoring God by the lives that you live. So notice in 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter, in verses 15 and 16, we have our heart that is totally sanctified unto God. It says, having a good conscience wherein you are people, when you are spoken against, they may be put to shame who make that speak when they revile your good manner of life in Christ. Why would they be put to shame? Because they revile your life. They speak against your life you're living. Why would they be ashamed? They're pretty bold. They're reviling your good life. Puts them to shame. What is it that you don't like? That I love my neighbor as myself? What is it? I give prosperly. I'm there to not only do good unto them that are people of the faith, but also to all mankind. What is it about my life? I don't lie. I don't covet your wife. I don't. What is it about my life that you are speaking against, other than I honor Jesus? And the only thing you can say to me is that you don't honor Caesar. We're going to obey Caesar's law. God's laws first. Which is it you don't like? And the point is they'll be ashamed because you keep on living that life. Why should you stop? You're here for the long term till we go into the grave. So we're the ones, that's why they hold your good manner of life. Yes, they will persecute you, they will revile you, they will speak against you, but you keep doing that because when they come back, they realize there's the standard it's following, and that's always beneficial. It's good. And so that's how true wisdom manifests itself. It's through our good conduct. It is indeed that of value, a conduct that is worthy to be imitated. Because you also follow me as I follow whom? Christ. It's about Christ. And following his example and following his character. And he came to this earth so we can see that. And he could reveal unto us the character, holy character of God. So all this folds together, but if I'm truly going to be wise and that sort of thing, I must have that knowledge and apply it and live it, is what the point that we're looking at here. Any comments or questions you want to add to that? All right, let's look at question number 3. How were earthly wisdom? Excuse me?
When you speak on that, in my mind, relates clearly to Titus 2 when it talks about Daniel, when they say they have nothing good or bad to say of him because he's all of his conduct. And
Yes.
James 3, talking about the wisdom and understanding and knowledge. You get that understanding by submitting your thoughts and opening your mind to the word or preaching, being taught. You don't have a closed-minded attitude, and it's full of wisdom, or full of humility and submissiveness. And that's what I kind of relate to the later verse when it says, your good works will be done in meekness and wisdom. So everything is to be done with that humility attitude. And that saying of those who wish to not be leaders make the greatest leaders, I feel like that comes into effect in all things. The humility aspect. I don't want to be in this position necessarily to fit, oh, I'm the leader, oh, I'm the head of this person. Everything comes through understanding wisdom, through it starts with humility.
Yeah, and it really starts becoming a Christian. James 1:21, receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your soul. And it doesn't stop there, as you're pointing out. And that's good. That's humility. He will exalt the host. And we're going to see, James is going to be speaking about that pride too in this epistle as well. But those are good points because you don't have to be talking, I'm a leader, look at me, and be showing ostentatious. Your life is going to dictate, hey, look who's he following. And we're not perfect and sinless, but that's what we're striving. Each day we get up, I want to be more like Jesus. And that's the humility of heart. And we'll talk more about that as we go. So now we switch. How is earthly wisdom? How is it manifesting itself? And we'll see the humility emphasized again. But how does earthly wisdom manifest itself? What's that? Yep. Faction and it is earthly, sensual, and devilish. So earthly wisdom. So what's he contrasting with earthly wisdom? What's he contrasting with that? Heavenly wisdom. But earthly wisdom, things of the touch, sensual. That which we can see, all of this part of this earth that is indeed there, but it's also devilish. And the idea, well, there's they're demons, but they'll be unclean demons, and so forth. That here is devil. What was the tongue that is sets on fire the will of nature, and it is set on fire by hell? There's coming from hell the devil, and the devil is indeed going to tear down humility. He's going to hit you with your pride. He's going to tear down your knowledge that you have in God's Word. Is it true or not? And bring forth a doubtful mind. James speaks about that in our prayers. And it's idea our mind is distracted, it's doubtful. The devil would like to put you in doubt. He had to knock you out the first time. He just puts that in doubt, but a little bit later, you leave the faith. That's okay with him. So it is dealing of what does the devil offer? The lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. That's about this life. I think every human being that goes into the next world, there's no way, I don't care if he's president, king, dictator, there's forced humility when you see and compare before the greatness of God. But this earth, you can get by with it. You can boast, you can twist things, you can have your own agenda, and you can get a lot of people following after you, and you may feel real important. You get actors in Hollywood that they're very famous, they probably don't like each other because they're always competing with each other. They'll find some fault with each other. And you can get your awards, but I don't want anything to do with you. It's just pride, jealousy, envy, and that's what we're about to unlock here. So that type of wisdom is indeed of sensual nature and of things that I see, and therefore you have jealousy and envy. You have people who are not willing to be entreated, and all of those things that we see contrasted with this. So that's how it manifests itself. Can you be bombastic and act like you're wise because you know everything, and you act like you know everything? Or something you probably don't know, and that's a terrible thing to be, but it manifests itself. If you don't promote yourself, there's something wrong with you. You need to get out there and do a little PR work and promote yourself. And what we're doing, we're trying to promote the cause of Christ, and that needs to be in our lives. But that's where this comes in, and what happens is that you have this bitter jealousy and faction. Some translations will have the idea of envy and self-seeking. Envy and self-seeking. The Bible will speak about works of the flesh, text about jealousy and envy. Jealousy is here a word that's used a lot of times in a positive way. It's zealous. It means zeal. It means you're on fire for something. And jealousy gets to be, well, I don't want to be like that. He's got more power than I have. I want to have that power. When I first see that person, I want to be just like him, because he's something special in my life. It's what you see. You haven't thought about anything else. You just like the limelight, that sort of thing. We saw that about teachers. They like to be called rabbi. And forget what they know, the knowledge they have. Was it true or not? They like the chief seats. It's eyes, the idea of pride of life. All of that is in the devil's toolbox. And has he been successful? Has he been successful? Every one of us have given in, or we wouldn't have sinned. And we've talked about a lot, and I'm glad we understood. Jesus taught us how to deal with that. It is written. We come back to the Word. But earthly wisdom is going to manifest itself. And let's talk about that in this idea of the faction and jealousy. So jealousy can be used in a bad way. I have a godly jealousy for you, Corinthians. God is a jealous God. He's sinful? No. He's jealous. These are my people. I don't want you to have any other gods before me. And one of the things that we learn from when we just study our Bibles is how self-centered God is. It's really all about Him. And you may not like it. But when you're a believer in the Bible, time and time again, that he speaks, heavens declare what? The glory of God. God, just let me look at it. Thank you. Do you have to promote yourself? Yeah. He's not ashamed. He's not ashamed. Oh, what about sin? That's a hard thing to do. You fell short of what? The glory of God. I want to see Pharaoh see my glory over him. And you put all those things together and you're saying, do I want to serve God or not? And forget about, I don't really believe in God. I don't want to serve a self-centered God. And I got Bible for it. And the point is that he's God. We are his creators. Who's the potter and who's the clay? He's the potter. It's all about him. And at the end of when Paul speaks about the greatest things that God has done for him, his mercy and his love, and he saved the chiefest of sinners, he breaks out in a doxology praising God. To him be the glory forever and ever. And when you have the meekness and the humility to have that kind of understanding, it's not a problem. He's God, and we're going to see the glory of God. And he's been telling us about that glory and all through the scriptures, but it is about him. Why wouldn't it be? He created us. Now, did he create you with a mind that can make decisions on its own and leave him out? Yeah. Self-centered? You may think that. That may be the way the devil said, you don't want to serve a God like that. I don't want to serve a God that kills babies. I don't want to serve a God that doesn't deal with evil and pain and that sort. How come we die? How come he doesn't heal us? Well, all reasons why I can be an agnostic and then an atheist. It doesn't change God. And God has never forsaken us. Wake up every morning to his loving kindness. Great is thy faithfulness. And you submit to that. It changed your life. For the good. David.
Say right. God has the right to be self-centered because he created everything.
Yes, he is.
No one else has that right to be self-centered.
That's true. Just the idea of he's life and he creates life. We can't really do that. We can kind of preserve it as much as we can, but we're not able to do even the things that begin as our existence. So the devil has so many ways, but the idea of jealousy is one. And then the word faction, and I think our next question will define that. We'll explain the two adjectives describe devilish wisdom. It's the jealousy and the faction. So what is indeed the faction? What does it mean? And there's two Greek words that are used in the scriptures for that, but they kind of blend together, and we can kind of put those together in our minds. So what does that mean to you? Faction. Divisiveness would be a word. Division. That's kind of what it means. Notice in number of passages where the concept is this. But look at in Titus when we speak about we have admonition toward one who is indeed factious. Titus 3 and verse 10, a factious man, after a first and second admonition, you refuse. And what do you know about that? That such a one is perverted and sinneth, being self-condemned. Now, let's take the first part first. What is indeed a factious man? Well, he's been divisive. The thought we would have. Let's add to it an electioneer, a barker at a carnival. I remember, I'll never forget the people at the Texas Fair in Dallas, where someone's trying to get you to buy some some cooking stuff, or they're just promoting stuff. And it may be junk when you get it home, but boy, it sure does sound like I got to have that. But he's promoting themselves. Or in the covered wagon times, snake oil. You need this. He'll help you take care of all your remedies. They're out there promoting themselves. The world rotates around them. The election near. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And this part is that, look at me, I've got the way of life and God doesn't. I've got the way of life and you need it. I've got the way, follow after me. I wouldn't mind having a cult following me. There's the mindset of this one. So you don't just say, well, here's what you're teaching, but you have a standard. You know that with that teaching, he is self-condemned himself. He sins because it's contradicting the teaching of God. And therefore, you have nothing to do with that person. Now, is it easy to tell someone that they're factious? I mean, that's an easy thing. When you can't deal with the argument, just say, well, you're just causing trouble. And that's happened a lot. That's to shut you up. But after all, you studied this out. You know the truth, and there's a contradiction. So you should not be bashful. I said, would you answer this question? There seems to be a contradiction to me. What do you think? And we can do that and respond in a way that's respectful and all of that. But there's a sense of that admonition. Now, what do churches do when they say, well, we're not going to have anything to do with that person because they're factious? Was there one warning? Oh, 2 warnings? And you're going to have to give the point. You're going to have to bring out the point. What is the point that says you're factious, that makes me factious? Because I just believe what this says here? It's after that admonition. I know men have been fired for being factious, and they never told him what he did was wrong. That's sad. Never warned him about what he's doing wrong. In fact, we agree what you're having, but right now you're reacting in such a way, you're a factious man, you're out of here. That's devilish. That's sensual. That's not a wisdom that comes from above. That's politics. And we're not going to be a part of that, are we, as God's people? And so the faction is that it's surrounding me, I'm the important one, and it can cause divisiveness. Look at Romans, the 16th chapter. And by the way, when you have your moment to prove that you're not factious, you need to have the truth that shows, well, I'm not the one that's sinning. You're the one that's sinning against me for doing this. But you hadn't warned me. We hadn't had a study about this. You haven't answered the questions. But now you're going to say I'm factious? That's not what we do with factious. Look, Romans, the 16th chapter. One that we've looked on not too long ago in our study. I beseech you, brethren, mark them. That means that you are setting them out for understanding. Here, this is what the person is saying. This is what they're writing. This is what they're saying, teaching. I beseech you, brethren, mark them that are causing the divisions and occasions of stumbling. So they're causing others to stumble. Why? Because they're divisive, but there's a faction. Faction is heart. It says, I'm leading the way for, and I don't mind people following me. Occasion of stumbling. It's contrary to the what? Doctrine, which you learned, which indeed came from God, through the apostles. So here are people not just causing trouble, but it is a distinct contradiction from the doctrine that we need to study out and maybe we need to have it come to understanding about. There's where you mark them, because that you're still trying to, warning and trying to get them to see that truth. And after that, they stand self-condemned. And we, who are standing for truth, need to realize that and mark them and then turn away from them when they're not going to change. And that's how we deal with division. We don't give God speed, who go beyond the doctrine of Christ. We don't say, oh, it's okay, everybody's got a view, let's just get along. Yeah. We're walking in the wisdom. Here's what God says. Here's what it teaches. Now, did I misapply that? Am I missing something that I can't make that direct application? Maybe so. But we can discuss that as brothers and sisters in Christ, come to a better understanding. But here James is addressing that which is indeed devilish because of jealousy, and we could put in envy. I always make the distinction, jealousy, I like to be like you and have what you have, and envy says, I don't like what you have. I don't necessarily want it. I just envy you having it. I'm willing to tear you down. That's a dark side of jealousy. Sometimes jealousy is used in a positive way, but we in the context understand it's bad. So that's what it means. What sin is connected with it? Jealousy. And we've got those two things in our mind. Anything you want to add to jealousy and faction, or envy and faction? We've got the concept of being. Explain why you would find the two together. How would those two things go together? Jealousy and faction. I would like that glory, so I'll promote myself. That's how the two can go to follow me. What's going against the doctrine of Christ? Follow me. We got a battle going on. We're going to respond to a factious person. Not by just marking them and saying, forget it. No, we're going to warning. That means we're going to have to come with the doctrine of Christ, and we're going to have to come with the understanding of this is where you're contradicting that. And if it's not, tell me how. Tell me why. We're going to have to talk. And but you're responding. And then the point is, if we can't, that we may have to split our ways. That's just we don't come to a conclusion like that because we don't want to be divisive. All right. Question 6. Why does the cause of Christ suffer when its representatives manifest faction? The cause of Christ. What would be an obvious thing? Cause of Christ. Why we're assembled to worship. We have a place here for people to gather. We would like people to come and hear the gospel of Christ. Wonder if they sense division in a church. Whether who's right or wrong. Is that something that the cause of Christ may suffer? I mean, why would I want to be a part? Y'all can't get along. And you can sense sometimes when there's trouble in a church. It's just the people don't seem to be caring about one another and that sort of thing. And that's a kind of a sign. But that's one thing that comes to my mind. The cause of Christ is going to suffer because someone's trying to lead and they're not following Christ. Thank you. And that becomes an issue. Question 7. What will the wisdom that is from above? What is it first? What will the wisdom that is from above first be? Pure. That means clean, purity. It always starts with purity. And it's just kind of interesting to me. That's the first place. Is it holy? And that should be something we ask ourselves. Anything we're going to apply. Is it indeed set apart? God's holy. He's set apart. Therefore, I want to make sure my motives are pure. I want to make sure my words are pure. I want to make sure what my teaching is pure is indeed holy before God. That becomes important. All right. Question number 8. I have sinned and in danger of losing my soul. That's just a fact. Here I'm coming to you. What characteristic of wisdom needs to step up and help me escape eternity in hell? What do we need here? What part of wisdom will help me when I am at this point, I'm in danger of losing my soul, I don't know what to do. I don't think I can do much about it. I don't want to go to hell. What do we read here that says, part of wisdom, this will be important? What would it be? Yes, sir. That's true. And the meekness here, let's talk about the fact that it would be gentle. Do we have gentle in our text here? You'd be gentle toward those. Full of mercy might be involved with what you're saying. Full of mercy. Easy to be treated, that's true. And I'm going to apply that to the next one. But there's a sense of mercy, gentleness that you would have for someone. You want to be, those are the two that come to my mind. Without variance, I'm not hypocritical. I'm not going to change. I have no respect of persons. It's not about who you are, and I don't care if you go to hell or not, or I do care. It's no respect of person. I care about your soul, and with tender mercy and with gentleness, I will try to restore you. Isn't that what Galatians 6 tells us? He gives us in Galatians 5, the word meekness is sometimes translated gentleness as a fruit of the Spirit. And then he comes down, ye who are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of what? Gentleness or meekness. Who's spiritual? Oh, they grow, the fruit of the Spirit is that I'm gentle. I get that from following God's word. And there's the spiritual one. It's not the one that said, rah, Jesus Christ, hey, I'll come and help you go to heaven. That could be a factious person. It's all about me. But the one who is, hey, we could all be there. We could all be in that situation. And you don't look at that and say, I'll never be tempted, Jason 6. Yeah, you can. And with humility, we'll come back to try to save them. All right, what about this one? 2 members of the local church are at odds with one another. What characteristics of wisdom need to be in the forefront to help achieve unity? Corey, what would be one? Easily treated, right? You can come to me. You can go to that person, and they can come to you. You don't have respect of persons. You're not a hypocrite. There's no variance. I'll change tomorrow and do this. All of those things are part of selling. Well, peaceable. We want peace. We don't want to fight. And one can weigh both sides and help 2 people come together. Aren't there people in the church? Why did you sue that person? Isn't there somebody in the church going to settle your ways instead of going in public for the unbelievers in the courts? 1 Corinthians 6. We should have that wisdom working. That becomes important. What is the truth? What is the fruit of the peacemaker? The fruit of righteousness is sown in peace. I'm going to make peace, so I'm sowing peace. So what's the fruit? Righteousness. Getting back to what's right before God. Wherein do I find the righteousness of God? It's in the gospel. And doing right, solving problems within a church, bringing a person back to Christ, all that wisdom needs to be manifested. And we need to be applying those terms and understand what they are and incorporate them in our lives. And one of the greatest blessings of men that grow to be elders is that they're to be easily entreated. You can go to them, and you sense that in them. And sometimes people just have a block there. It'd be hard to entreat them, hard to convince them. But they're not partial. That's what wisdom needs to be seen in our elders like that too, because we're going to need somebody to go to and to help us in our time of need. Well, next time we'll go lesson 8, Lord willing. And thank you for your comments.